Shalom, Grand Rising, Osio, Halito. Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I am your brother Daniela, aka the Copper Collab Original. Before I get started, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to the God of Israel. I also want to give recognition to the Holy Spirit and recognition to Yahweh Shai. Many salutes, much love, much ahab to you brothers and sisters who are keeping the will of our God to the best of your abilities. I encourage you brothers and sisters to send up righteous prayers not only for yourselves, but for your friends, your family members, your loved ones, the innocent, and Israel, that the God of Israel will protect us, provide for us, heal us, and restore us. With that being said, welcome to the video. So, before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to my wife, who I love dearly. Shout out to you. She makes bug out bags, so you know, this is a shameless plug, but I'm putting it in there. You know, even though this video is to show you guys how to prep, if you want to take the guesswork out of it and you know, get you like a starter prep bag or bug out bag, to go bag, whatever you want to call it, my wife, she provides that service. You can reach out on Facebook at Wilderness Bows, or you can hit her Facebook up, which is Angie McClendon. Last name is spelled MCC. I can't even spell my last name. MCCLENDON. Right? You can find her on Facebook. Just ask for Wilderness Bows or bug out bags. Not bows. We don't make bows anymore. But just ask for the bug out bags, and she'd be happy to take care of you. So yeah, in my last video, I was talking about several things that people would need to survive. Like I said before, the most important thing, and before I get into this video, I want to apologize about the audio. If I haven't already, I'm going to try to re-upload that video, because I know that everyone cannot hear me. Some people can hear me, some people can't. I think it's the codec that I'm using for my audio when I render my videos, because after I record my videos, I can hear it. You know, through all devices. But when I process it through my video editing software, that's where the problem comes in. So I'm gonna try to use a different codec for the audio, and hopefully that will help, you know, fix the problem. So I'm gonna try to redo that, not redo the video, but you know, edit the video, try to edit, you know, the audio file, and see if I can get that to work. Because I had this issue before. I want to say about a year or two ago, I had the same issue. So I figured it out then. I'm sure I'm gonna figure it out again. But I'm not gonna pull down the video that I originally uploaded. I'm just gonna upload the fixed version and just say re-upload with fixed audio, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully this video will be good. This part 2, right? So in the last video, what I had mentioned were, you know, what I deem as, you know, not necessarily order of importance, but I do think that having clean drinking water is probably the most important thing you want to have when it comes to survival, because if you're not drinking clean water, it can take you out. It can literally take you out in less than a day, you know. And if you're not drinking water, that can take you out in a matter of a day or two, you know, depending on how badly you're losing water. So you know, that's why in the last video I mentioned, the first thing I showed you guys were the mini Sawyers and life straws, right? And who knows, maybe this spring and summer coming up, I may make some videos actually, you know, showing how the products are used. You know, that may be something I may do this spring or summer. But before then, I want to show you guys, you know, what you guys need to buy if you're just starting out. You know, this video really isn't for the advanced people, because you know, you know what you're doing. But this video is mostly for people who don't really know where to start, and they really don't know what is the important things, the important items that they need to get. Now, like I said, like get your mini Sawyer or Life Straw, some type of water filtration. They also have water purifying tablets. We do have some of those, but honestly, I feel like a Life Straw would be better, because I think most people don't know what they're doing, because literally that's like chemistry, right? And you have to know how much, water you're mixing that into. When you're putting those water purification tablets, you can't just drop it in a pond and it's going to clean the whole damn pond. It doesn't work like that. So it's a little bit more complicated, and there is a chance that you can not clean the water as well as you think you did and end up running that risk. I just think that having a filtration system is safer. Some people get Berkey systems. Those are very expensive, right? That's a very expensive water purification system. You can get you a Life Straw. People get Berkeys and they usually have them for they have them for bugging out. Those things are mobile, but they're expensive. They're very expensive. They're really good. They work. And then also in the last video I showed you guys, I talked about food. Getting Mylar bags, sealing food like that. Sorry, I'm tired. It is late. It's like damn near 2 o'clock in the morning. But I'm up here baking cake and stuff, because tomorrow is my son's birthday party. So I'm up here making the cake, and I'm just waiting for it to cool down and stuff. But it's late. Me and my wife, we've been setting up all evening, getting things ready for tomorrow. It's pretty late, so we're pretty tired. But anyways, get canned food. I honestly feel like that's the best way to start, when it comes to getting food. If you don't know where to start, or if you just don't want to do Mylar, you don't want to steal stuff, just get canned foods. It's gonna last you a while. You can get canned foods that's gonna last you, 3 or 4 years. So excuse me. Another thing I mentioned were tents too. You can definitely get you some tents. But this video is gonna be about tools and stuff. So another thing too, you can get you some respiratory mask. Now, people are going to nitpick and say which ones are better than the others. You're gonna have people who are gonna say, get you a certified, gas mask. Honestly, this is how I feel. Having a respiratory mask or a gas mask, whether it's, just a half face respiratory mask that's gonna go over your nose and your mouth, or if it's one that's gonna go over your face, it's better to have one than not to have one. Of course, the more expensive ones are gonna work much better. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if you have a respiratory mask, you're gonna be better off than people who aren't gonna have one. And a lot of these respiratory masks, when you look at them, they actually do protect people from dust. They protect people from bacteria. Some of them say bacteria. So like coronavirus and things like that. And chemicals, they even have it labeled that will protect you from, toxic chemicals that's in the air and stuff like that. So you can look at these things. Like I said, it's better than not having one. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have one of these than not have one, right? So that's one of the tools you can use, to help keep yourself safe out here. And I'm not gonna go through, different type of gas masks. There's a whole bunch of them, respiratory masks, gas masks that you guys can look at. But another thing too. So say, how everybody's talking about nuclear war right now. Okay, this is what you guys can get yourself. Potassium. I can't even. Right here, potassium iodide. This is what you guys can get right here. And the reason why people, recommend for like your bug eye bag or for prepping or whatever to get potassium iodide is because when you ingest this potassium iodide, it fills up your pituitary gland and it keeps radiation from getting in there. It keeps the bad iodide from getting in there. So this is why you take it, because it's supposed to keep you from getting radiation sickness. So that's what they say, but who knows? Who actually knows? Because I don't think any of us has actually lived in a nuclear wasteland. You know what I'm saying? You know, this could all be snake oil. We don't know. But I say better safe than sorry, honestly. I'd rather have some of this with me than not with me, because, you know, I don't know if, you know, nuclear warheads are real. You know, they show us the footage of what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but I know that a lot of shit has been faked. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff has been faked. And, you know, they could be holding these fictitious bombs as just a way of fear tactics. You know what I'm saying? So who knows if they're even real? Honestly, I'm not even sure. Because Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the only places that were bombed, and it has never happened since. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you know, if all these other countries have their finger on the nuke, why haven't they done it already if they could? You know, it just I don't know. I'm not sure, you know. But like I said, better safe than sorry. So anyways, so now hatchets, this is definitely a great tool to have when you're out there, especially if you're, I mean, I say you should have this in your prep, but especially if you're bugging out, if you plan on bugging out into the wilderness, I would just say, just in general, for your prep, you should have some type of hatchet, some type of axe, because when the power goes out, when the grid goes down, you're gonna need some way to stay warm. You're gonna need some way to cook your food, and you won't have, you know, gasoline as fuel. We won't have gas anymore. You know what I'm saying? To heat our houses, to cook our foods, and the only way you're going to produce some type of fire is through wood. You know, and you can even use wood not only for fire, but to build things, to make things. And in order to get wood, you're going to need to chop trees down. You're going to need to chop up wood, chop up stumps, logs that are falling over, and branches and things like that. So you're going to need a hatchet. And honestly, I recommend a hatchet or some type of axe over a machete. I know some people like machetes. Machetes aren't good enough. Machetes are only good for bush, blazing trails, bushwhacking, and all that stuff. It's not good for cutting down trees. Hold up, give me a second. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go and check on my little one. He was crying. So yeah, like I was saying, I wouldn't buy a machete just because machetes really aren't good at chopping down wood. Even with these little hatchets, you can cut down a pretty good branch, you know what I'm saying, or log. I want to say probably, if you Feast of Booths go, I want to say probably like my first Feast of Booth, or Feast of Tabernacles, that my wife and I went to the wilderness to start doing Feast of Tabernacles. We had purchased small hatchets, right? And we got small hatchets, in order for our bug out bags and things like that, right? Because that's when we first started prepping. I want to say about 5 years ago is when we first started prepping our bug out bags. And mind you, at that point, we weren't going so hard when it came to prepping. We just wanted to make sure we had a little something just in case we had to get up and go. So we purchased these little hatchets, and I remember that year we had a brother of ours who came with us, and he had a big axe. Actually, he had an axe that was like this, You know, I don't know how long this one. This is 14-inch. I think his was probably, his may have been a 14-inch because this will be about 14-inch. His was probably a little bit longer, right? And he was hitting the wood. You know, it was a big old fat log. Like, he literally carried a big log. I want to say about that round, right? And we was cutting through that log with our little hatchets. You know what I'm saying? So think about it like this: if a beaver can cut down a tree with his teeth, you can do it even with a little hatchet. Because the blades to the hatchets, they're probably about like this long. So I would say that's probably about like 4, 5, 6 inches, right? To most of these small little hatchets. And that's actually the size of a lot of these full-size axes. Now, granted, you can find axes with big blades, right? And if you get you a full-size axe, I'll recommend getting something that big. But anyways, my point is that you can cut down trees. You can cut down medium-sized trees with these small little hatchets. I mean, you can cut up wood, log, all that stuff. I mean, I do it with my hatch when we go outside and burn wood on our fire pit. I use that little hatchet to cut down wood about this thick, you know, so you can definitely use it. But, you know, I would also recommend getting a bigger axe too, because, you know, the longer the axe is, the heavier, the more force you can put behind it, which will give you, you know, more chopping power. So I would definitely recommend, you know, getting a little one for your bug out bag. You know, you can attach it to your bug out bag. That's what me and my wife do. We attach it to our bug out bags. And then probably get you a bigger one for the house. I mean, you could probably even carry it along with you for your bug out material. I mean, sure, you could. You can have it going across your back, you know, just like how you would a rifle or a bow or something like that. So you can definitely have that in your bug out material, but I would definitely have it in my prep. But when you're looking for a hatchet, I wouldn't recommend these, the ones that are essentially two-piece, like they're wood and also metal. I would try to get something that's full tang, and you will see it on here. Some of them will mention that it's full tang, and full tang just means that it's one piece of metal. So from the blade all the way down to the tip of the handle, it's one piece of metal, and that's what you want, because literally so that Feast of Booths, when we were cutting down wood and the brother got logged that big around, when he was cutting on the wood with a hatchet like this, it was more like a little small axe. The blade came loose. The blade came loose and started spinning around on the wood handle. So that's why you want to get full tang, just because you don't want the blade to disconnect from the handle. So let's see if this says full tang. I don't see it saying that's full tang. And don't always go by the pictures that you see on Amazon. Try to look for the videos to see the size of these things, because you know they Photoshop the hell out of these photos on Amazon. I don't know why they allow them to do that, honestly. I mean, this looks like this could be full tang, but I'm not sure though. You know, sometimes if they don't say it, sometimes you can find out in the comments. People will say, "Hey, well, this ain't full tang." And let's see. Okay, how about what good the qualities were? Where did I just see that? Slide past that quick. I see it say fiberglass in there, so I'm guessing this isn't full tang. You can actually just look for hatchets that are full tang. So I'm gonna type that in there. See, full tang. That's what you want. You want full tang. And just because you type it in doesn't mean that the ones that pop up are going to be full tang. So this is what we have right here. charade. And damn, they are way more expensive than what they used to be, man. We got these for around, I want to say, I got mine for like around $15, man. It is crazy. And they're at a discount right now. Sheesh, that's crazy. Yeah, see, it's a 3.6 inch blade. And let me tell you, it's good enough to cut down wood, man. It's good enough to cut down logs. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, you can use it as a hammer too. You can use the backside as a hammer. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it comes with a sheath and a belt clip. Oh man, yeah, it's a great little hatchet, man. I'm telling you, it's a great hatchet. I purchased ours years ago, and we still have them to this day. They still work as well as they did before. So that's a tool that you definitely want. You definitely want a tool to cut down. I will stay away from shit like this. This thing is going. This thing is useless. Look at it. It's plastic. Like, yeah, it looks cool and everything, but that's useless, man. Absolutely useless. That thing is gonna break in no time, and I'm sure it has no weight behind it. Like, it has that little bit of weight right there, but you ain't cutting through shit with this damn thing. Look at it, $62. I mean, who knows, man? It's pretty. It looks pretty big, but you know, I wouldn't trust it because it's not full tang at all. Not full tang, and I can't rock with that. Sorry. Like, weird. I keep hitting the mic, hitting the table actually. So yeah, charades. These are good, man. I can't believe how expensive they are now. I think we got it for like around $15. But this could be full tang, probably not. But that's what you want to get. You want to get like a full tang hatchet. This looks like it's full tang right here. This is a 10-inch, so it's a little bit smaller with a 3. Okay, so 10-inch full tang stainless steel blade with 3 hex key. So yeah, this got a hex key in it. You know, that's pretty cool. But you can find full tang hatchets and axes on here. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, that's what you want. I mean, you can get you a machete. Machetes are pretty cheap too, but they break easily, man. They're these two brothers who will come out to Feast of Booths with us. They're twins. They love hatchets, and I'm telling you, every time they come out to Feast of Booths, they're always replacing the hatchet because they're always bending the blade, always breaking the damn thing. Those things they're useless for cutting wood. They always use it to cut wood too. Very useless. So anyways, that's something that you will want to have. Like I said, you definitely want paracord, because like I said, you can use paracord for you can use paracord for anything. I mean, just about anything. I mean, what's going on? Because I can't see this. Yeah, you want 550 paracord. I mean, it really just depends on what you want to do. But 550 paracord is the type of paracord that I use. It's pretty strong paracord too. So you can use it for all types of things. You can use it for stringing up things. You can use it to make gill nets. You can use it to, I mean, you can use it for all types of stuff. You can make a bow out of it. That's literally the paracord that I will use to make bows. I will use for bowstring. Shit, you can do so much. You can make clothing out of paracord, cordage. Just cordage in general is important to have. So I would definitely say, you know, buy some paracord. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pause. I had to check my phone real quick. But yeah, you can make all types of stuff out of cordage, out of paracord. And my phone, I knew my phone was bugging out. Sorry about that. Sorry. Off subject. My my wife told me today that that Tariq Nasheed has a beef with Indian Red. And Indian Red, by the way, if we're talking about the same Indian Red, that's our brother, the researcher guy. Tariq Nasheed is, I guess, beefing with him. Tariq Nasheed is a fucking clown. He is controlled opposition. He's a fucking shill. All he does is just cause confusion, man. I don't rock with the guy at all. But anyways, so paracord is definitely something that you will want. I mean, it doesn't have to be paracord, but it could be some type of cordage. I would definitely have that because you can use it for fishing. You can use it for, making nets. You can use it for making clothing in emergency situations. I mean, you can use it for so much stuff, man. For fires, all types of stuff, man. Really, I mean, it's a very useful tool. It's probably one of the most useful tools you can have out there, right? So here's another thing too that we have. We have foldable saws. Let's see what pops up because I can't even see what I'm typing. That's a cool little contraption. I've seen these little pocket chainsaws. Never had one before, but I heard that they work well for cutting down trees. Yeah, and I've seen these too, the wire ones. But we have these type of deals right here. I think ours is like 12 inches. Maybe it's 10 inch. We have something that looks similar to this. I can't remember what brand we have. I think it has like a Japanese name or something. But what inspired me to get one of these saws was that I was watching a show called Alone. So when I saw them with one of these saws, this is relatively inexpensive. I mean, a 10-inch blade. So that blade is like about this long, right? For $12, man. That's actually a good price because think about it like this. A blade that big, you get around a tree about that wide. You can literally cut down trees that wide and make you a shelter. Make you a little cabin. How do I know? I watch Alone. I'm telling you guys, y'all need to watch that show Alone. Check that show out. Naked and Afraid is good. But of course it's an acquired taste, or if you don't want to see naked people, you definitely don't want to watch that. But I would say that I learned more. What show did I learn more from? I don't know, because both of them are really good in their own right. I've learned a lot from both shows. I'm not even gonna hold you, man. But when it comes to what you can and cannot eat, I learned more from Naked and Afraid. When it comes to how to build shelters and stuff like that, yeah, Naked and Afraid has good shelters on there. But I want to say that I probably learned more from Alone. I learned more from Alone because Alone, when you're watching Naked and Afraid, except for like maybe one season, everybody's in warm to moderate weather. You know what I'm saying? It's usually summertime type of weather, right? Where it's like, 70 degrees and higher. But on Alone, and that's what Naked and Afraid, by the way. I don't know if I said Alone, but that's in Naked and Afraid, right? They put them in warm, subtropical, or tropical regions, right? While in Alone, they're in colder regions, right? And when you're in a cold region, you have to make a good shelter. You have to make a good built insulated shelter, right? And that's the type of shelters I want to know how to make, because you're not going to always be in a place that's warm. I mean, sure, you may live in Florida right now, but you may have to flee Florida. You may have to come to the Midwest, and guess what? The temperature is much different up here, and we can have long, hard weathers depending on what part of the Midwest you're in. Like here in Central Ohio, we get some snow. We don't get snow like how we used to when I was a kid, but we still get very cold days. I mean, it's weird. Like our temperature be acting weird. Like it could be freezing cold, like in the low 30s, then it can come up to like the 50s in the winter. Sometimes it can even come up into the 60s during our winter. But if you're like in the upper Midwest, like in Minnesota or up near the Great Lakes, like Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, you're not only getting cold weather and more consistent cold weather, you're getting a lot of snow too. And if you don't know how to make a shelter in those situations, you will literally freeze to death, right? It was just like 2 years ago where people in Chicago were freezing over. People were freezing in their train subway systems. Like, that's crazy, man. So if you don't know how to build a shelter, you be a wrap. So that's why I like Alone, because Alone shows you how to build great shelters. They show you how to build hearths. I knew about hearths when, like, years ago when I used to play World of Warcraft. There was this thing called a hearthstone. But I really learned what a hearth was when it came to this show, and how you can make a hearth to keep your house, your shelter warm. And I learned how, through that show, how to build a hearth or a fireplace, and how to reflect that heat, you know, back onto you to keep you warm and stuff like. I mean, just learned so much from that show, guys. Y'all gotta check that show out. Like I said, watch Naked and Afraid, watch Alone, watch Survivor Man, and there's other shows out there too, but I can't remember the name of some of these other shows. But those 3 shows that I named are great shows that will give you tips on survival. Okay, I will say that Alone is probably the best, because these guys are out there alone, all by themselves. They have to build shelters, they have to deal with the cold, they have to find food, and it's tough for these guys, you know. So that's probably, out of, I don't know, I can't say which one's my favorite out of Alone and Naked and Afraid, because both of them are great shows. But yeah, this is where I found out about this tool, was through Alone, because I was noticing that the contestants, every contestant had one of these things. I'm like, man, that's pretty dope. It's a folding saw, and literally there's, I mean, their blade, they probably had like a 15-inch blade, because that blade was like about this long, right? And that was allowing them to cut down big trees. I mean, they were cutting down trees about this big around, you know, with a saw this long. You know, so you don't need to have a big old giant saw that's like about, you know, 2.5 feet long to cut down a big tree. You can actually use something that's like a 15-inch saw to cut it down, you know, and build your shelter, man. I have a saw. I have a few of these saws. I have hatchets. I have chisels. And I have a debarking tool. Why? Because your boy, I'm telling you, if I have to bug out and I have to move out to the wilderness, I am going to make me a log cabin. Yes, man. I am going to be Grizzly Adams. I am going to be the Black Mountain Man out there living in my cabin. And you know, it's like I said in another video, you're going to have to be creative when you're out there. I honestly feel like the people who are going to do the best out there are people who are creative. You got to have some type of creativity. You have to have some type of ingenuity, because you got to, I feel like in order to survive, you got to know how to make things happen. And if you don't have that ability to try to figure out things, it's going to be hard for you, and you're going to have to rely on other people in order to survive. But I've watched videos. I watch many videos of people building primitive cabins. I watched probably about, I want to say about 3 or 4 different videos of people building primitive cabins, and they did pretty well. Some people get it done within, I want to say like maybe a week or 2. I saw this young guy over in Europe. He finished half of his cabin. Well, I want to say when it came to building the structure, he got most of it done. He probably built it probably about, I want to say about 6 feet, probably about 6 or 7 feet tall before he ended his video. But yeah, he got that done in like a week. I mean, this dude was working, but I'm willing to bet the reason why it seemed like he was moving that fast was probably because he already had his wood cut down, his logs cut down and stuff. But he was cutting them. You know, he was chiseling in them so he can make notches, and he was laying them on top of each other and stuff like that. I don't think he got around to chinking it, you know, with clay or a mixture of clay and dry grass, or, you know, out of moss or whatever you want to chink it with. I don't think he got to that part yet, But I remember he was cutting him out some doors and some windows, and I think that's where his video ended, and he no longer uploaded any videos after that. But I've seen other people knock it out in like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some people take a month. It depends on really just their schedule. But when you watch Naked and Afraid, there are people who made cabins. There was this one, actually, I think it was probably my favorite season of Alone, where there was a husband and wife. They actually made themselves a cabin. Oh man, that was pretty damn dope, man. They made themselves a little miniature cabin, a little mini cabin out there, and it was nice. It was nice. They didn't win that season of Alone. The Billiard Brothers did, and if you're into, wilderness channels and prepping and just wilderness and stuff like that, you probably know who the Billiard Brothers are. But anyways, that's this saw right here. Pretty good saw. Like I said, you can find them in different sizes. I would say the bigger the better, but always read the reviews. Always read the reviews so you can know how good these, the product that you're looking at is. You don't want to buy something you see, look how long that is. Look how long that is. I mean, it cut through branches real easy. I mean, these things, whoa, they put in work, man. They put in work. I didn't expect them to work as well as they did, but I mean, why wouldn't they? If they're using them on survival shows, I mean, why wouldn't they work well? So yeah, for your wood cutting, those are like the two main things I would say. Get you a machete. I'm sorry, that's not what you want to get. Get yourself a hatchet and get yourself a saw. That's what you want for your wood, right? You don't need the extra stuff like I mentioned. Like I got a debarking tool, so when I make a cabin, I can clean the bark off. I even got chisels too. So if you're planning on bugging out and building a shelter, you may want to get those tools. Who knows? But you don't need those tools. Those are not necessities at all. So what else? And I'm not doing this in order of importance, just to let you guys know, but you want to have some type of fire tool, because that's very important. I would say that's probably more important than having a wood cutting tool. And the reason why I say that is because you don't need to cut down trees to make fire. You can literally, if you're on the forest, you can go and find branches and twigs and leaves and stuff like that. Will they last as long as a big piece of wood, big old log? Nah, it's not. But still, you can survive off of those little branches that you're burning as long as you have fire, right? So there's different types of fire tools out there. I mean, you can buy lighters. You can buy lighters if you want to have lighters, but those are gonna run out eventually. But this is what we have. We have mag bars. This ain't this actually isn't what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just gonna type it in fully. Let's see if this pulls it up. Okay, here we go right here. So this is what we have right here. A magnesium. They call them mag bars. I don't know why when I typed in mag bar that didn't pop up, but right here, this is what we have right here. These fire starters. You can actually find these like at Walmart. They sell them in your camping section. And essentially how these things work is that these bars right here, this big old silver part of the block, is made out of magnesium. So what you want to do is you take this tool, this part right here, this little metal part right here, and you want to scrape off some of that magnesium, right? You want to scrape it off onto your tinder bundle. Whatever your tinder may be, if it's toilet paper, if it's dried pine needles, if it's dried leaves, whatever your tinder is, if it's cotton, whatever, right? You want to scrape that on. You want to scrape off this silver block because it crumbles. This silver block actually crumbles, right? You want to scrape it off with that. onto your tinder bundle, and then you take that metal part that you're scraping the magnesium off with, and you strike it against this right here, this black strip, and that's gonna cause a spark, and it's gonna hit the magnesium, and that fire is gonna be hot. Like the fire from the magnesium, it's supposed to be so hot. I can't remember how many degrees it gets, but it's supposed to be like very hot to where you should get a fire. If you don't get a fire, you definitely don't know what you're doing, right? So yeah, that's one type of tool. See right there how. Let me see if I can click on this. See right there, how he has it in his tinder. See, that's when you already have. So there's the pile of magnesium right there, and then you just strike it like how you would a match, and sparks will fly down onto that magnesium, and it will start burning real quick. So yeah, that's a mag bar. I recommend you guys get a few of these things in there. I don't know why the hell this is like $12. You can find it cheaper than that, man. Like, here's one for $5. You can even find them cheaper than that. Honestly, you can. They sell kits for like $10, $15 that come with these, right? Look, let's see how many of these come. Is this a 4-pack? Oh, this is a 2-pack. See, 2-pack. This is cheaper than the $4.99 one if you get 2 of them. But sometimes these come like in little bug out medical packs, camping packs. I don't know what you would call them, but they're like little packs that come with like medical supplies. They come with like your basic fire starter, whistle. They come with like other survival tools too, maybe like a little folding knife. But yeah, yeah. So that's the mag bar right there. Another thing is, there it is, the ferro rod, right? Now this one is a little bit more difficult to use, but it's essentially the same thing. It's essentially the same thing as the mag bar, just without the magnesium. So essentially the same thing. I honestly, I feel like if you're gonna get one or the other, just get the mag bar. Just get the mag bar. It's easier, because you could be fucking around with this ferro rod for a minute trying to start a fire, but with the mag bar, it's so much easier. The ferro rod, it can take a little bit longer, right? Yeah. Anyways, you can find these on here. Everything's so expensive now. Okay, there's one right there for like $6, but damn, they are so expensive, man. I remember you could get like 2 of them for $6 back in the day. I'm telling you, man, don't let it stop you. Yeah, you can get this stuff wet. You can get this stuff wet. Even the mag bars, you can drop it in water and you can still use it. See, that's how you use a mag bar. You see that right there? That's a good example right there. And it's the same thing. I mean, sorry, that ferro rod. I said mag bar, but that's how you use a ferro rod. You know, you just scrape it and the sparks will come off, and it will catch fire if you got a tinder bundle. But you have to do it a certain way. You know. See, look at that. It looks super easy, but for people who don't know what they're doing, it's not as easy as it looks. But like I said, the mag bar, much easier to use. So anyways, let me see if they got like little survival kits. They probably have some on here. See, look at it. Look at this survival kit right here. Look what it got in there. See, look, that's a ferro rod right there. You see this thing right here? Let me click on it. That my mouse is over. That is a ferro rod right there. And here's the little part that you scrape the ferro rod with right there, and you light it. That's paracord right there. It's a compass and a paracord. I actually have a lot of this shit here. I actually had this kit, or a similar kit to it, that came with all this stuff in it. I think the only thing I didn't get was this right here, but I had the pin. That's supposed to be a tactical pin. a tactical flashlight. This is for your. It's a water bottle holder. This is a spork knife. I didn't have that either, but I had this knife. The knife is pretty decent, especially if you sharpen it. This paracord, did I get that? I'm not too sure. I don't think I got that paracord, but I had this right here, and the ferro rod, and the striker. And it did come with whatever the hell this was too. I can't remember what those are. I'm not sure if that's Mylar or emergency. I think it's emergency blanket, yeah. And then this right here is a little chainsaw. I mean, it's a little handsaw, so you can use it to cut down like branches and stuff like that, right? Or if you're an assassin, you'll use it to strangle somebody. But yeah, $34. I mean, I'd say that's pretty decent. I mean, because this has quite a bit of stuff in there that you could actually use for a survival situation. I would say that this really isn't a bad deal. Okay, so they got different pieces. So look, they come in bags like this. I think this is the bag I actually got. I think I actually got that bag. But yeah, it comes with all this different stuff on it. Like, this is starter stuff right here, man. This ain't nothing to sleep on for real. Only thing it doesn't have is like a tent, but it has a lot of good survival tools in it. I mean, they may not be the best survival tools, but you don't need the best in order to survive. We had this too. We had shovels. I'm not sure. Yeah, we still got our shovels, our military shovels. Yeah, this ain't bad for $32. Look at all this that coming in here for $32. That's not bad. I mean, could you use more than this? Yeah, you can definitely use more than this. But I would say that this is a good starter. So anyways, tools. You definitely want a knife. I say definitely get you a type of knife, a foldable knife that you can use, you know, to process things like food, meat. If you're fishing, you're gonna need a knife to process fish. Same thing with deer. If you're out there hunting deer, you're gonna need something to process deer with. And also, like I said, my wife, she makes bug out bags. So like I said, if you want to take the guesswork out of it, you know, you can hit my wife up on Wilderness Bows and ask about bug out bag. You can also hit her up on Facebook under Angie McClendon. You can hear her up there. But yeah, so your fire starter, you know, your tools. Also, another thing too, I think is important for survival situations, especially if shit hits the fan in this society. I say get yourself a firearm. Get yourself a concealed carry firearm, and then also a rifle too. Because if you're a person that eat, you know, if you plan on hunting, you know, you definitely would want a rifle so that you can go out there and hunt and stuff. So, and then, you know, you do want seeds. Now these are heirloom seeds right here. These are non-GMO heirloom seeds. They come with 16,000 seeds, man. That's a lot of seeds. You know, so if you're planning on, say if you bug out and you want to grow your own garden, well, here you go. Right here. Bunch of fruits and vegetables right here. Now, these are not seeds that you want to use for, you know, just regular gardening situations. Like, you don't need to use your heirlooms. These are things you want to use when shit hits the fan, you know, because they have genetically modified a lot of these seeds to where they will fruit, and then they may create seeds, but the seeds may be what is it called, to where they're not able to reproduce more fruit. I forget what it's called, man. But yeah, there's a full face mask right here, gas mask that you can get. What else? I mean, you definitely want walkie-talkies. I don't know how useful they will be when shit hits the fan, because if they use an EMP, all that shit's gone. You know what I'm saying? Would I invest in I forget what these what are these radios called, man? Why can't I remember the name of these radios? Ham radios. Yeah, that's what they're called. They're called a ham radio. Would I invest in a ham radio? Probably not. I know there's people out there who like, yeah, yeah, get you a ham radio because you get to keep in contact with people from China and things. It's like, yeah, right, man. My sister, she actually has a ham radio. I was gonna buy one, but some of the brothers that I know and my sister purchased a ham radio. They don't work as well as people say they do, and then also on top of that, you need extensions in order to get those very, very long ranges. Now, me personally, I feel like if I'm bugging out, I don't want to get in contact with nobody. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone, man. I went out into the wilderness for a reason. Leave me alone, man. I'm a hermit by nature, man. Leave me alone, man. But yeah, you want some type of radio. I would say, definitely get you some type of walkie-talkie so that you can communicate with people who you're bugging out with. You know what I'm saying? So say if I go hunting, say if, me and my wife, we bug out to a certain location in the wilderness, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go out fishing or I'm going to go out hunting. Well, out there in the wilderness, those walkie-talkies go pretty far. Most of those walkie-talkies, they say they can go up to like 5-10 miles. You're probably not gonna go over 10 miles when you're going hunting out in the wilderness. I probably wouldn't. But I know that you can't go far hunting. I do know that for sure. But that's gonna work well enough for you when you're out there. You can keep in contact with your group while you're out there if you have a walkie-talkie. Another thing that you want is, like I think I covered it in the last video, is some type of fire stove, wood burner stove. And they have all different types. These are the types right here that you can use to keep like a cold weather tent warm. But they have much cheaper, more basic ones that you can use just to start fires and to cook food over. I would recommend getting one. Because they have them. They're relatively cheap. Some of them are like $15. Some of them cost more than that. But you really just need a simple one to be able to cook food over. So what else? What other tools? Because we have a bunch of tools, man. I already covered axe, firearm, fire starters. Trying to think of the necessities, because there's just so much. There's so many things out there that you can use for survival. I can't even think of them right now. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So you definitely want some type of light source. Like flashlights, headlamps, lamps. You definitely want some of those. I would say get rechargeable batteries if you can. And if you're getting rechargeable batteries, I would say try to get some type of power bank. Get some type of generator, whether it's a solar generator or whatever. I would say definitely get something that can be hooked up via USB. Something that you can hook up to a generator. To a solar panel, because they have all types of solar panels that you can use. They have like small foldable solar panels that are about this long, about this tall, and they work well. Oh my god, I tell you, man. We have them for our bug out bags, and we've used them several times before. We use them to recharge our rechargeable portable fans that we use. We use them to recharge our solar generators, and we have a big what's it called, solar panel. It's probably like about this long, about this tall, and it's pretty good, man. We use it to charge up things when we're out camping and stuff like that. So I would definitely say try to get you a solar panel and try to get you like a power bank so that you can have some type of power if you're out there to keep your phone charged, to recharge rechargeable battery, so you can have some type of light source. I would say it definitely would be a good idea to bring something like that with you, because that's very useful. So yeah, that is essentially all I have to say for right now. I may make a part 3 when it comes to the bug out videos, when it comes to the prepping and stuff like that, because there's many other things out there, but those are essentially the main things you want, you know what I'm saying, for prepping. Like when it comes to tools, I mean, there's so many different tools out there. Like, I mean, you can even have regular tools that you would use for like housework in your prep, you know. I have a bunch of tools, and those, I'm telling you, tools will come in handy when you need them. When you need them, they will definitely come in handy. Oh yeah, you definitely want a medical kit. That's another thing too. Definitely get yourself a medical kit. I'm glad I landed on here. And you want to see what's on here, you can build your own medical kit. My wife and I, we purchased a medical kit, but we also built our own medical kits too. You want all types of stuff in there. You want venom extractor, we have that. You definitely want like painkiller, pain relievers. You definitely want something to clean out the wound. You definitely want bandages. Yeah, I would say definitely build yourself a medical kit, you know, because you never know when something bad may happen out there. You know, you want to make sure that you're taken care of if anything were to happen. So yeah, definitely build your medical kit. If you don't want to build one, just buy one, but just make sure you know what's in there. Because if you buy one and say if it doesn't have something you need, you can just add it yourself. You know, you can just go to the store and buy whatever it is that you're missing. So anyways, guys, I'm about to get up out of here. I got some stuff to do. So I will talk to y'all later. Peace out. Shalom. May the God of Israel bless all those who do his will. Peace.